Alright, hello everyone, my name is Shep, welcome back to the Butcher Circus, and today we are gonna be doing Caltrip's triple stun. Yeah, what am I cooking up today? Well, it's gonna be worth it. We're playing against 17503507997, and they're playing with a stress team with a doggy grave robber backline, which is pretty cool. They have Stress Heal Crusader, kind of generalist in the front, DOT Resist, Man-at-Arms. Yeah, seems like a cool but very aggressive team that they've got going. And I've got stuns! I'm going to stun them, and I'm going to enjoy myself doing so. So first things first, we stun the Grave Robber. Why? I could have dropped Caltrips immediately, but I want to do this before she gets Toxin Trickery, before she goes for the Panic Darts, because I really don't want the Grave Robber to have her turn. Now, we have a bit of a situation here. That situation is called Doggy in the back, which I cannot stun. But next turn I'll be able to drop the Caltrips on him and everything will be fine. Wait, Shep! You got to bleed, even against the Crusader with 70 bleed res and the Man-at-Arms with 75% bleed res as well. Yeah, that's because in this team, which is basically world domination but with a Vestal, I have decided to bring the Spiked Bat on my Bounty Hunter to ensure that I do get the Caltrips bleed, since it's going to be so darn important for me throughout the match. So yeah, why do you run Caltrips with a triple stun team? The reason you do it is because your action economy is just absolutely amazing. Every time I do a stun, I'm not actually doing 2 damage, I'm doing 4, because they're taking a bleed on top of it. So if you stun your opponents and they're all eating Caltrips over and over again, technically it's the best strategy in the Butcher Circus, right? No, of course not. It would be much better for me to have an Arbalest here and still keep the 2 stuns. Just way better for me to do that, but you know, it's still fine. There's still other things we can do. Right now, what I want to do here, and oh my god, this is just nasty, I'm going to stun the Man-at-Arms because he only has 70 stun res and I have 150 stun chance, because that's totally fair and balanced. And you want to play? Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. You don't get to play. You get to play with your last character, but that's gonna change, let me tell you, because I'm gonna go for the pull, and after the pull I'm gonna go for the stunning blow, and you cannot play, right? And this looks amazing for me, but oh, that sucks! I don't have the grappling mitts. No, that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. This is the play that we needed to win the match, but yeah, since I don't get that, it's gonna be a teeny tiny bit trickier, but it's still perfectly okay. We're still in the winning seat, but the reason I don't like having these many stuns is because you kind of don't need it. You just need 2 stun characters, and then the other characters need to be doing their thing, because you can't win just with stuns. You're doing nice damage, but you're not really furthering your win condition. You're kind of delaying your opponent's win condition, but eventually the stuns are going to be unfeasible, because the stun chances are going to be too low. You're not going to be able to stun all the enemy characters all the time, but yeah, so far it is going quite well. So now the Grave Robber has a choice. Either she goes for Toxin Trickery and doesn't die the next round, or she doesn't and still dies the next round. There's nothing she can do. She can drop the Panic Darts here, but basically all the stuns that I've been able to do have prevented my opponent from going for Bolster, which they actually didn't have prevented my opponent from going for Toxin Trickery, and there's nothing they can do here. What they can do to try and save this Grave Robber is, normally they'd have Toxin Trickery, they'd have Shadow Fade, they'd have Guard, Heal, Guard. The doggy doesn't have the Guard in this situation, but he could have the Guard. But even if the doggy did have the Guard, I could stun the doggy and then have 4 stun characters on the enemy team if he did try to guard, because the Vestal has 115 accuracy and 150% stun chance with both these trinkets, which is totally fair and balanced. So yeah, there is a bit of a situation here, which is the fact that the stress is racking up, but it's not racking up too ginormously. There's no Abomination on the enemy team, meaning that they don't do that much stress. I've been able to pretty much prevent all of it, apart from the doggy's Hound's area, which is still hurting, obviously. It's still hurting a fair bit. But now I need to make a decision. What does the Vestal do? Yeah, everyone that she can stun is stunned. I can go for a 30 on the Man-at-Arms. You know, I could do that, but do I really think that's a good idea? Honestly not. I'm just gonna drop the Comfort. And yay, you countered the DOT from the Hound's area, but that's not the real threat here. It's obviously the stress from it. I guess I could have gone for like a Blork of Light into a stun on the Crusader with the Vessel, but we get a crit anyway, so it doesn't matter. And look at this, this Crusader managed to drop Blork of Light round 1, have 35 prot against my damage team, and he's already half HP, and he hasn't been able to act since, you know. That's why you bring Numbing Instance on the Crusader? Nah, that's why you don't play with your Circus? Yeah, that's more like it. That's more like it. Okay, let's go for... You know what, I'm just gonna ignore the doggy for a bit. I think... Wow, I think I can survive for a while without actually having to worry too much about him. So one of the things that I have done here is that I decided to bring the Collect Bounty. Another reason I have the Spiked Mat is that the grappling mitts doesn't give you plus damage, so the Bounty Hunter is still gonna do some decent damage with the finish him, with the stun synergy. But with these extra 10%, it's not much, but it's honest work, as they say, right? It can give you a helping hand, it can make the difference. And I think in this situation, probably wouldn't have made the difference, because I think the Caltrips would have been enough to bring the Crusader down to 0 anyway, but you know, having that extra little bit of damage there when you don't have an Arbol is definitely quite useful. I've had to sacrifice the Tiger Finger on my Abomination because, you know, I can't have 3 of them, so I just brought the Spike Chain, which I personally don't like having. I prefer having... Ooh, that's bad. I might not be able to to prevent the Crusader from acting here, but I self-heal and get a crit for it. Okay, looks like the Crusader is finally going to be able to act, but now he's in a situation where either you drop Zealous, or you drop a Rally to the Flame, heal yourself and then get stunned again, go right back down to the store and die. So you do have those 2 options. My opponent decided to go for the heal, and now they're going to die anyway. I have more actions than you do, I'm still stunning you, so this is another advantage that stun teams have, is that if they're able to get the kill quickly, which this team was actually surprisingly capable of, probably because of this Abomination transforming and raging. If they're able to get the kill quickly, then they'll still have more characters than your opponent does. They usually have more healers, because the Crusader heals, the Vestal heals, the Arbalist heals, the Abomination self-heals, you know. All those things are in your favor, and if you do have all those things in your favor, you kind of need 3 stuns to stun the entire enemy team if they're down 2 characters. If you know what I mean. So I'm going to go for the Rake here instead of the Confirmed Deathloop because I want to be a tiny bit greedy. I didn't want to use the finish him, I kind of wanted to go for the pull on the doggy this time and get it, and also get the stun on him. But at this point, that's still what I'm going to do. I don't have to go for the Deathblow here. He's at death's door and he's stunned. There's really nothing this Crusader can do to scare me at this point. My opponent could guard him, but if they guard him, I drop another stun and there's nothing they can do, right? Yeah, this is really unfun gameplay, isn't it? It's interesting because this team isn't really the most meta thing you can bring, not by a long shot. Having an Arbal Seer would make this a hell of a lot better, but, you know, if my opponent had like maybe a tiny bit more stun resistance on their trinkets, or if they had an Abomination to transform, and they managed to go first, then my team would really suffer. But yeah, the way this is going, it's hopeless for my opponent. They still managed to put up a fight, but yeah. Oh, the stun doesn't go through the 80! The Man at Arms actually resists it. And yeah, he really does need the 70% base stun resistance. If he didn't have this, yeah, it would be stun galore in my opinion, way too many stuns. So I'm just gonna drop the stun on here. Yeah, try resisting that one. You just don't. There's nothing you can do. I'm just gonna go for the finish him, and all my characters are kinda close to this door. So I guess dropping that Divine Comfort was really the move at the end of the day. I could have gone for a Rake here. Honestly, that might have been the play, but I'm just gonna go for the Rage instead. I'm perfectly okay with dropping a Rage here, though it's probably going to miss, let's be honest. Yeah, I only have 96 accuracy. He stresses himself out, goes for the slam on the corpse, yeah, as you do, and actually, that doesn't really change too much. I guess I can now reach the Man at Arms a bit more safely. So yeah, for this team I also changed out the Zealous Accusation for the Blork of Light, since if you're stunning and kind of going for a long match with the Caltrips, then you know, the Blork of Light could be useful. It won't always be useful, but it could be. So the Vessel goes selfish, that's okay. And I think She's probably just gonna try and heal herself. I could lose this. Actually, I could lose this. That's the thing. If they had an Abomination here, and the Abomination managed to get one transformation off, you can see this Man-at-Arms is still quite healthy because he's been guarding and having the protection. It would be kind of difficult for me to take him down here. Sure, I can keep stunning him. I did manage to make him go Afflicted somehow. How is that possible? How did this man go Afflicted? I guess I did transform twice, so yeah, that does help a bit, doesn't it? Freaking Abomination. Balanced as always. I think this is just gonna be a comfort turn. Hopefully heal for... No, it only heals up to 5, and he says no as well. Kind of unfortunate. I was hoping I would get a crit heal on the Bounty Hunter, but yeah. I was definitely hoping I would heal the Abomination, because now I kind of doubt he'll be able to do enough damage here, but yeah, he's definitely not going to do enough damage like that. So the doggy is just going to have to go down to the Bounty Hunter's finisher, but that's okay. Once again, if they try guarding here, now they have a 5% chance of resisting, because if you get afflictions on your opponent's side, that also reduces their stun res. So it technically makes sense for you to get a lot of stuns on a stress team. It does technically make sense, but it doesn't really work out purely because there's a character called Arbalist, and she flares away all your stuns and all your debuffs, which stress teams would typically like, so you kind of can't play both of them, because if you run into an Arbalist, you're basically losing anyway. Because you're a stress team and they have an Arbalist and she can one-shot you if you're not careful, and if you have a Vestal to try and go for stuns, which this has been done before, if you have a Vessel to try and go for stuns, then, you know, she might just drop a flare and there's really nothing you can do. But my opponent, you know, they tried, and let's go for match number 2. Alright, and here we go, straight into a match number 2, and this time we're playing against the Goliath comp with a Bounty Hunter, which is quite interesting. Very defensive Arbalist, very aggressive Leper, oh boy. This might not work out too well for my opponent. They're gonna go for the uppercut on my Abomination, which is fine. I don't really mind it too much. They're preventing me from going for the immediate slam, but I probably don't want to slam anyway. I'm gonna stun the Leper for the meantime. I don't really have the massive pulls that I would normally have, but that's alright. We are chilling. What I'm going to do here is just stun the Arbalist, because I am playing against an Arbalist this time around, so she's able to flare away 3 stuns, and it's insane what the Arbalist can do. If your opponent drops 2 stuns on your side and then you drop a flare, you're basically gaining 4 actions out of that flare, because your opponent used 2 and you get 2 free actions from that. So yeah, it's a +4 trait, which is really good. So I think my opponent should have immediately gone for the Dark Stab, because now I'm just going to, you know, Stunning Blow and blah 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 blah. Why'd you go Stunning Blow before Caltrip's Shep? No! The reason I do it is because I kind of feel like I need to get this stun now, rather than getting it later. If my opponent drops the Revenge, if my opponent drops Revenge and then I drop the stun, sure, I do a bit more damage, but next turn they pass, they have more stun resistance, and they get to, and the next turn they get to act immediately and go for the chop. Now they have to wait, next turn they still have to go for the Revenge, then I stun them again, and it just feels really bad for my opponent, which is what I want, obviously. I want it to feel really bad for my opponent. So another reason this strategy sucks is because Arbalist flare stuns and cures bleeds. By default, she doesn't need any trinket for it. It's not like the Musketeer that needs a trinket to cure blights. The Arbalist just, she does it all. She's the best damage dealer in the game. She's a fantastic healer. She's a fantastic support character. She's difficult to disrupt. She has Bola in case she does get disrupted. She can disrupt the opponents and reposition herself while doing damage and very likely getting a crit. Yeah, just Arbalist things, right? Let's not go too much into it. And I think now I'm just going to stun the Jester here. I'd like to do some damage to him because I really don't want to get finale'd here. If my Bounty Hunter or my Abomination gets finale'd, it's really not going to be too good for me. I could have pushed the Bounty Hunter. That is a thing I could have done. Probably should have. Would have, could have, should have, didn't. And now I'm in a very difficult position because I don't have an Arbalist. I really should have pushed that Bounty Hunter. That was very silly of me. I got distracted by the Arbalist. I really got distracted by the Arbalist. But it's okay. We can still pull this off, right? Right, question mark. Yeah, I will just have to drop the Bark of Light here. I'd love to go for a stun, but at this point stunning is not ideal, because the Arbalist lives. She endures. So my opponent's gonna go for the revenge here. I will try to drop a stun on there, though I can't do it immediately, obviously, so instead I'm just gonna do this. 50-50 hit chance. Literally a 50-50. What do you get? A crit for 32. Yeah, that's some good old Butcher Circus RNG for you. This is looking like DD2 PvP right now. 50-50 hit chance. Yeah, and we just get it. So they have to go for the battlefield manager, which does heal for 11, which is it's a bit more than I wanted. I'll be honest with you, it's a bit more than I wanted, but fair enough. I suppose I will just go for the stun here on the leper. Nice stun, very nice stun. He's taking a fair bit of damage before he gets to act. He's gonna be down to like 30 HP or something. But yeah, it really sucks that my Abomination is out of position, because now he's also gonna put the Bounty Hunter out of position, which, yeah, it does suck. It does quite suck. But that could have been prevented, that could have definitely been prevented, but this is still not the end of the world. One thing I might do here is actually de-transform Bile, because I do have the Spiked Chain. Getting Repulse on myself would, it would be but, you know, I'd take it. Now they go for that, which is annoying, but in response I'm just going to slam the Bounty Hunter, you say. Yeah, screw it, let's slam the Bounty Hunter here. Push him to the back, make the Arbalist possible to stun again. Even though the Jester does get his potential finale at the moment, he has Death of Recovery, so that's minus damage. He only has one finale buff, and I have Prot. So it's very unlikely that he's gonna get a finale in either of the next 2 turns, unless he gets like a crit Turks on me. They are gonna sniper shot. It only it only hits for 17. How, Shep? How does it only hit for so little? Well, it's quite simple actually. My opponent has foregone any aggressive trinkets. Even the Piercing Quarrel did not make it to this poor little Arbalist, so she's doing 0 damage essentially, even against the mark. That's still half my HP, by the way, with full defense, and what was probably, maybe not a min roll, but probably a low roll, probably like a mid roll over there, yeah, probably like a mid roll. So they will be able to finale my Vestal quite soon if they want to, but I think this is a move to position 2 time, or do I pull the Bounty Hunter? Ideas, right? There are some ideas to be had here. They will be able to finale start of next round. I could heal to prevent it, right? That is a thing, I could heal here to prevent it. They have 11 to 20, I imagine it's going to be a little bit less, so it's going to be like 10 to 19 because of the minus damage, plus I have Prot. So it's going to be doing like 8 to 16 pretty much. Yeah, she's probably dead, let's be honest, she's probably dead. Hopefully she's dead with a crit. That would be wonderful, but we'll see. We'll see, yeah, she's dead here for sure. But this is still kind of okay, because my opponent will be down the finale, the Arbalist is still stunned. Crit. Oh, no crit. 9 damage. Yeah, that must have been a really low roll there too. 9 damage, how unfortunate for me. And I think I just drop a Rake here. So sadly I don't have another Caltrips to drop. I get a crit on there, which is good for me, I guess. The Arbalist goes to position 3 where I can bully her. No, that is good for me, that is good for me. I still had the idea of pulling the Jester, making the Leper be out of position. He's finally going to be able to act by round 4. Does he do 20 damage? He does, but he doesn't on the wrong character, so it's perfectly okay. Right now I'm just going to stun the Leper so he doesn't do that again. I do the min roll, but that's still an extra 2 damage. And yeah, things seem to be coming up Shepherd Doggy, and there does seem to be justice in this world. My opponent isn't having too much fun here. I could pull the Jester, but I feel like that's silly, so let's just move to position 3 and have that finish him, and even collect bounty if I want to. They are gonna try to pull it here, but I doubt they do enough damage. I have the 20 prods, I really doubt they do enough damage. This is Arbalist for you. This is Arbalist for you is all I can say. Yeah, this is Arbalist for you. Do I have a guaranteed hit chance? No, it's an 85. Don't go for it, chap. It's an 85. Don't do it. I was looking at my stunning blow hit chance on that Jester. Not guaranteed, so I did not go for it. I don't want to be that guy. So my friend is going to click the Leper here. Take even more damage on him. He does have the Solemnity still, so yeah, that's going to be rough. But as long as I kill his other characters and have the Crusaders rally to the flame, his damage really won't be all that significant, so it's gonna be okay for me. Now I could pray that I get a crit for 11. My opponent has removed the bleed on this Jester, so I feel like the best move here is just to drop the finish him. And get another crit for 32! Oh, how unnecessary. Actually, no, it is gonna get him afflicted, so that could be good. Minus dodge. Hopeless, okay, that is minus dodge, it's -5, that's fine. And he's just gonna drop a harvest here. Oh, please don't bleed the Crusader. Okay, we're good. He didn't bleed the Crusader, that's okay. He's dazed, so do I really care? It's still better for me to do this. Yeah, it's still better for me to do this than to go for a 40 on the leper. They're gonna go for the heal here, to which I'm just gonna drop a double heal. I think... Actually, no, they only... Wow! That's a terrible amount of damage. Look at that protection coming in so clutch. Probably minerals from that leper as well. Wow, that is actually massive. That is absolutely massive that that's what happens. I'm going to drop the finish him here on the Jester, so no more Jester for you. They have a bit of a choice here. What I really want to do is transform Rage. Right, but my Abomination is dazed, so I wouldn't really be able to do that, unfortunately. But it will be okay. They drop a Bola, I get pushed back, I still have my turns, and I can't stun anymore because Arbalest. We heal, we double heal. Of course, this is the best move. Always double heal. And I might transform Rake here. I mean, transform Slam. That might be the move, to transform Slam. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the play here. Because if it's a 60 to push, right? It's a 60 to push, because my opponent doesn't have Snuff and I have the net. So we slam, and they're put in a weird spot here, because what they typically want to do is ball and then be back in position, and I can't really stun them too reliably. But if I slam, with the amount of damage I've dealt from the caltrops, this does mean that now I have a guaranteed death blow against my opponent's Slipper, which means that after I do this, it's basically checkmate, and the Arbalest cannot survive here because I'm just going to heal, de-transform stun, and it is GG, and the stun team takes another W. Now, am I going to subject you to a third game of this? Probably not. You can do that to yourself. You can subject yourself to playing this team. Unfortunately, you're also going to subject yourself for the next couple of days to playing against this team, because I feel like that's a trend that happens, which is quite cool. When I play a team in one of my videos, you get to see it a bit more often in the Circus, which is kind of cool, so I should be playing fun teams rather than stuff like this, but... yeah, it's just, it's a decent team. It's a decent team, is what I can say about it. Not too meta, very unfun to play against if you're the average player. I wouldn't mind playing against it, honestly, because it doesn't have an Arbalest, so it is actually a bit more, for me, it's more fun to play against than against an Arbalest, because they're stunning you and they're one-shotting you. With this team, you actually really have a lot of things to do if you do still want to win. You have to use every turn, like, precisely to get those little bits of damage in, because you don't have the one-shot button, as you do with WD, for example. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you again another time. Cheers!